Was there a storyline that you just felt uncomfortable with?
Lost. I started off as a fan of the show. This was that first era I passed. We're all people, we were all kids. Now the adult challenge is all the social media. You look bigger on camera, those kind of comments.
So then who are you now?
I'm too short, I'm too fat.
What is Degrassi to you?
We're ready to go. We're ready to go. Look at that. With the scramble, and then we land and we made it.
Yeah.
Welcome to Click and Tell.
Thanks for having me.
We were just talking about how much we know about you, and yeah. Do you remember this? Do you remember that? You've had such an impact over the years for so many people, and from women to diversity to the show Degrassi. I mean, we're all talking about our experiences.
Yes,
I mean, we go back way back with the first.
I mean, I'm sure that's what you encounter all the time.
Yeah.
People from different generations, like, they have a touch point with Degrassi. Everybody did. I mean, I guess as far back as us, 110 years old?
Yeah.
140 years old?
You better.
Right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But yeah, that idea that it has such an impact with so many different generations, and you were part of that, and you made this conversation happen. First of all, I was going to say thank you for letting yourself be out there. What has it meant for you that this documentary is part of TIFF?
It's surreal. I honestly started off as a fan of the show. I have older sisters, and my mom used to just watch the show with them when I was definitely too young to be watching a show like that. But I didn't even understand what was happening. I was just watching the fashion and like spiky hair and all of those things. And I really wanted to be on a show like that. And I remember seeing like the first like hunky brown dude character on a show, and I was like, I want to be on this show. And then I lived in Ottawa at the time, and I had no acting training, got cast in it, and I was like, I'm gonna work with Hunky Brown Dude. Didn't know that I was gonna be cast as his sister, which broke my heart, but it's fine. But then I got to live out my teen years, like as a teen on the show, learning all the things through the character. So now to have ended it and reflecting on it, I think I might have finished 8 years ago or something. To reflect on it just feels like start off as a fan, then I grew up on it, and now I'm I'm an adult looking back on it. It just feels like such a full journey.
Yeah.
I feel really lucky to be able to digest it in like a deep way with the community because, you have made a Duncan show. There's so have you. We've all, we're all part of the group collective consciousness. But when you see where it lands, it's really special.
One of the things that people always talk about, and they give you guys the flowers for, is how it went and talked to the issues straight up in a way that nobody had really seen on North American television before. And in a lot of ways just fought against, I guess, hiding those things. Having young people experience it and watch what other young people can experience in a way that's more real than they had ever seen before. As a fully grown person now, looking back at your experience, being that person that young people would look at and going through those storylines, oftentimes before you in your real life experienced it. What do you think about those things now?
Yeah, that's kind of mind blowing, right?
It's absolutely surreal.
Yeah.
And sometimes I realize that the impact that I've had is not my lived experience. So, for example, I'll have a lot of girls come up to me and say, I had really strict parents. And I didn't know how to break the conversation about wearing certain things or staying out late or just having the normal North American lifestyle that they didn't understand. But by watching you break the barrier, I could just show them this episode, and together we would watch what a new world looked like as you talk to your parents about it. So my parents are pretty like Caribbean liberal, like do whatever you want. But just by knowing that kind of impact, or when I had an abusive relationship on the show, I'd have people truthfully come up to me and say, because I saw what you went through, I have the strength to leave that for myself because I could identify the red flags. And sometimes it just hits me that I got to go home and take off my wardrobe and become Melinda again. But for some people, when they saw those shows, they saw their real life reflected. And it's surreal. I think I'll never get over that kind of impact. And I feel really lucky. I keep saying that all day. I feel really lucky.
Yeah.
That I had any part that someone could just open up their real life and make it better through something fictional that I did.
Was there a storyline that you just felt uncomfortable with?
Lost. Okay, starting off with just having my first in the light version, having my first kiss on TV with like all these grown men watching you just pick for it. And they made it as wonderful as possible, or even like my losing virginity storyline. This is before the era of intimacy coordinators. So if you're kissing, it's just you two just figuring out how to do that. And I remember, like, specifically the losing virginity storyline. It was 16 years old, and we shot an overnight, which is also weird. I'm like, to go to sleep, I don't have school or anything. I'm just shooting at 4 o'clock in the morning in the back of the woods and in the back of a van, because that was the romantic destination that the older boy took me to.
Yeah.
And so there was this really awful nickname, I think, that came from the show, that it was like Backwoods Bandari. Yeah. And so that like followed me forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I never took anything personally because it was like absolutely fictional.
Yeah.
But just the thought that, I was not acting the fear of how weird that was, because I was definitely, a little 16-year-old virgin at the time. So I was scared.
There is that thing of like, people watch a show, and they can't separate the actor from the character. So when you're going about in your real life, or have been in the last decade or more, have there been times when you've been approached by people who just couldn't get it through their head that you weren't what they saw on TV?
Yeah, because it's hard to phase out Degrassi, something so big, right?
Definitely. I get a lot of just that you just are met, like you've seen someone for a really long time, like a long lost cousin, and I don't necessarily match that energy. So I'm really grateful to meet that person, but it's almost that I feel like I'm letting them down. I felt like, oh my god, hey, right back. So there's a bit of then I have to break the energy of like, oh right, we don't actually know each other.
Right.
So there's a bit of that, but also I remember hanging out with some of the cast members, and especially like the guy that played the abusive husband. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy, and we would just hang out after set, and people would scream at him in the street, be like, "Why are you with him? He's abusive. He hit you." Or one time, I was hanging out with the guy that my character lost their virginity to, and after that, there was a ripple effect of him having an STD. And so we were walking down the street, and someone looked at him and screamed in public, "He has genital herpes." And then he was like, "In the show." The show was
Okay, so on Quick and Tell, we went through social and we went all the way back, and actually opened up fully your first one. Don't look. But this is the first photo we found of you on your social media, May 31st, 2012. Do you remember this moment?
I do remember that, actually. Juicer is a friend of mine, still to this day. And I guess this is probably taken on a potato from the quality of it.
Yeah.
Like that. I never got the chance to go to real schools. So when I moved to Toronto from Ottawa, my Toronto friends would show me around campuses, and I would just get the feel of like, this was like a university. And I was like, I'll never probably get the chance to go to one, but I could pretend.
Did you miss that aspect of it?
I don't think so. I think I've just always said like I've gone to like the University of Showbiz.
Yeah,
and I think what happens in the future.
Okay, you can pick one of those now.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
So, can you talk to us about actually what this moment was? Remember when and where and?
Yes, this was my first apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Your first apartment?
Yes, I was 17, and I lived with my sister.
Wait, you had your first apartment at 17?
I moved out of home at 16.
Yeah.
Girl.
And my parents lived in Ottawa, and my sister lived in residence at York University.
Mm-hmm.
So I was staying with her for the first couple episodes, like in her dorm with her. And then she was like, "We gotta, this is not gonna work out." But I thought that was my dorm experience.
Yeah, okay.
So little Rebel and me used to just love to throw house parties because I had no friends. And my only friends in the city were the cats.
Yeah.
And so they all lived with their parents. So I was like, just come to mine. And so this was that first air I passed. We played siblings at the time. I was like, maybe we can fall in love. Since I wanted language. But
This was actually we came every chance, right?
The good side.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, we're not actually siblings. And yeah, this is Scott, the guy that like my character lost to her virginity to.
Yeah.
But I really feel lucky. They're just all wonderful people.
But there was such a buzz around you guys at that time.
Yeah.
Like, I remember in the city, and even nightlife in the city, some of the older, actors being out and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like? Do you remember what it felt like? The energy the attention, and even I guess at this age, that freedom,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it was surreal. I have to say, I really admire the. They were cast, but they were my friends and they were my family, and they would really take care of me.
Yeah.
Like I remember Scott Addison. He showed me how to use the subway because I didn't know anything, and I would just take back taxis everywhere. This is pre-Uber. I feel like 100 years old when I say these things. And they just like sat with me like while I like learned the subway.
Yeah.
Like and we would go out, but they we were underage, and when you're on TV, people will give you access to anything you want, and there's no bedtimes, and we all like as a group just like kept it together. I'm quite proud of all the things that we probably could have gotten into.
Yeah.
We weren't bad. We didn't do too bad.
That's good.
Yeah.
You know, even this documentary, Drake's in it, and
Yeah.
he talks about the impact of Degrassi. What is Degrassi to you?
Wow. Degrassi to me is an insight into what it's like to be a teenager, but also a Canadian teenager. From school life to home life to stuff you haven't even figured out about yourself. I'd say like watching episodes, I learned a lot because I didn't have like again, I was raised the traditional way, so I'd watch episodes and be like, right, that's why you shouldn't do that.
Right.
So I think because they showed the extreme versions of things, I think I was scared straight to not to act out because I saw like sex to get pregnant.
It was like the ultimate version of like the role play, the bad consequences, right? Yeah.
We learned a lot from Degrassi. Okay, 2 more.
Okay. Oh yes, the Minor Hiners. That was our first nickname. This was my first gallery shoot ever. Always in stilettos. Grateful for that. Yeah, this is my first one in honor of tonight's finale. Oh, so this was at the end of the show. Yeah. So I was 16 and then 23 when I wrapped.
Wow.
Being like 16, getting on that, that's like you said, your first gallery shoot. And you can really see like someone said, okay, you gotta stand here, you gotta do this. What was the experience like just having all of that, I guess again, in a way, that attention and the responsibility of putting this all together?
I think because I had a dance background, a competitive dance background, I was quite used to being on stages, and I had a competitive martial arts background, so I was performing.
Yeah.
Always having to have your like sleep and your routines that have like something to achieve, and a lot of photo shoots even then.
Yeah.
Dance is like extreme like clown like makeup.
Right.
So I think to look like an actual teen was actually really fun.
Nice.
And I think those things prepared me for what it was like to leave home and be professional.
It's so interesting to say about performing. Do you feel when you can let your guard down? Like if you're always performing, is there points in your life where you're like, okay, I'm just me?
Truthfully, it took me until rapping to decide on Melinda. And I tell people this so much that I always thought that, the versions that you met and you met, I really thought I knew it. But if I look back, I was probably just so shielded by ego.
Yeah.
That was my protection.
Yeah.
Because I think that you just have to be on. I was all around the world alone with my purse and passport, not my parents, and I didn't need wardrobe and stuff. I just wardrobe departments. I didn't need my own things. So I didn't have my own sense of style and identity. I didn't focus on my inner self. So when I wrapped Degrassi, I was like,
were you lost?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I say it in this doc. I say the first thing I did was I really got in touch with like my inner self because I didn't know her. I was like, what do I do when no one's telling me what to wear and who to say it to? So I was brave and just booked a solo flight to Hawaii. And I just stayed in a hotel and went to the beach, and I just was like, when do I want to eat? What do I want to eat? And when do I go to bed? Let me take myself out. Because I was always around, publicists and the schedules and here's what you do, but I didn't know my own rhythm.
Yeah.
And so since then, truthfully, it's been a quest of just really honoring that. And I've really loved that. And now the rules I take have to be strong enough or impactful enough that I want to leave Melinda to go
That's so
seven.
interesting. So even all the talk about being independent at that age, there is that, but also you were scheduled.
Yeah.
People looking after you.
Yeah.
People taking care of everything. So then who are you now?
I think truthfully I am focused. I am Melinda, the one that I caught of. Yeah. I know her. Focused on my health and wellness. Because I think, in life you experience certain things and you realize that health is your wealth. And if you don't have that, you have nothing. And sometimes, I remember feeling like my most powerful self when I was on TV and when eyes were on me and when you're all up. And then I remember having phases when I was wrapped where I'm in show clothes and I didn't feel as powerful then. I didn't feel as worthy then.
Mm.
And then now, I mean, if I'm not impressed, like you catch me in my sweatpants having a blast in the park with my dog, feeling worthy.
Yeah.
Not feeling like I have to be on camera or have to be, making this much per day to feel like I deserve to be here on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I've founded an academy that is focused on holistic health for showbiz and actors. And we talk about mindful eating and how to prep and ground yourself after the upset, how to, if it's a really hard character like the horror stuff, how to separate yourself, things that I wish I knew that no one taught me. How to do interviews without like being like up and on like I always was a little crackhead, like how do you really just tune into yourself to share the message. So I don't feel like a victim to any, but I feel really lucky because I've turned it into something. But that's what Melinda's
It blows my mind. My daughter's 16. She's turning 16. And the idea of her doing this on her own.
So your parents, like, they love you. They want you to do it, but they don't know how to support you because they've never done it. So, well, you know more than us. Just tell us what it's like.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm impressed. That's amazing.
This one's just for fun. Because I, again, very menopause.
I'm just going to mention.
Yeah, I do. Totally forgot. That's us. That's us too. Can you see which one's me?
Yes, I can see.
Yeah, see that.
What a great.
I know. Is that the first one I've met before that? Maybe. And Veronica's a good mutual friend. And
I was at this shoot too.
Carlos was taking the shot.
Yeah.
But that was so fun. But that's part of this is the conversation, the fact that you've opened up for even South Asian women in general. You've brought up conversations and there's also an episode I remember where I had clothes on and you do this often, you take off the jacket and you have something else on underneath. And then that was so all women. I think it was all women, but especially South Asian. I mean, they're so scared to reflect their identification, and you made that easy for girls
That's my first scene I ever shot. Was in a bus shelter with a long skirt and a sweater, and I took off to some like skimpy tank top.
That's right. I remember that.
That was the first thing I ever shot, and it's like, I like this stuff. And I don't have to be in real school anymore.
Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. And that is such a fun journey to watch you and where you are now. And congratulations. Thank you. I have to say, this is just an incredible experience to be with you guys because it brings you back all the way back.
All the way back. Don't go too far back. Let's not go too far back.
My knee hurts. But the idea that it's still a conversation people are having and the impact of Degrassi on so many people. And you were the OGs?
Yeah. Can I say, so when our producer Jade and I were talking about this, she said, "Oh, she's talking about Melinda." She's like, "Yeah, the OGs." I went, "Oh, and then she had to do the research to go back and be like, "I realized it started that far back." But like this institution of this show that even now people are like, "When is it coming back?" Right? It feels like a thing that people don't ever want to go away. And you guys we're at the very beginning of that. Can you talk about how that feels?
It feels pretty cool now. I mean, we're in a place now where it's like that is very cool to be able to run this with people and we grew up together and stuff. I mean, do you guys also connect with each other? Like, is there a text message between you guys? Is there?
Pepper and I are glad about it.
Nice.
This is all the time. But may I ask how that relationship happened? Like, was this something that when you guys started working together that you had an instant bond?
It actually evolved from the next gen, because our characters like so rarely interacted on the original show,
Right.
and then it had to do a lot with bonding because we were some of the only
We were the OGs.
we were the OGs,
Yeah.
Right.
the new the new generation. So we really bonded there, and then we started working together on projects and stuff, and we were like sisters.
So when you watch the documentary and see everyone's aspect of the different generation, what shocked you the most or surprised you the most?
Oh, that's
I mean, for me, what surprised me is no matter which series or generation, we're all people, we were all kids. We all had the same, and things touched us in the same way. Maybe the way a particular storyline was portrayed it still hit the same way. And then seeing some of the other younger cast members going through similar experiences behind the cameras, and no matter what your age is, we still have very similar experiences or things to say.
Yeah, it is really funny because there's a lot of conversation now about like the difference between generations, right? It's like more Gen Z and everything that comes out. What are we? What even are we? What even are we? I don't know. I think I think we're you know.
So I'm Gen X.
You're Gen-
1979.
Yeah.
Right. 81 is what? These are why? My generation is just full. We don't know. We never know.
You're an expert.
But I think even just that idea of like in the real world, there's all this background about what, and you have this real opportunity to connect to people who have this very unique experience. What are some kind of specific things that when you talk to younger cast members, you've been able to connect on?
Insecurities, I think, could do with body image,
Mm-hmm.
appearance in general. I mean, that's one that hits a lot of people, especially when you're a teenager, you're going through changes. I just feel like now the adult challenge is all the social media and the messaging is so much more prevalent. Like there's so much more of it.
So did you have to deal with that when you were shooting the show?
So no, like we didn't have the social media, but we did have just like comments that people would say. And I always get the same comments typically like, oh, you look different, you look this way on camera, you look this way not on camera, right? And
What was that this way?
well, either shorter, you look so much shorter in real life, you look bigger on camera, you know, those kind of comments that may be hard. I meant the intent is harmless, but as a sensitive teenager struggling with body issues already, it just intensifies it that much more and makes you very self-conscious. So that was my experience. And I have seen that in some of the next gen cast as well. So I think that's a universal thing, right? And especially when you're in the public eye, it just intensifies everything. So
Was that the same for you or?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Very, very similar. And even just, watching some of the next generation shows too, where they brought up topics where, wow, I actually experienced that during our days, but I didn't know there was a name to it. So again, it's that connection with storylines that no matter what generation it can teach you. And we do have a unique experience. Not everyone gets to be on a TV show. So instantly you share that very intimate, vulnerable type of connection. Double. Right. That was it.
yeah. And you watched all the series?
No.
But to be honest,
I don't even watch any of or all
why?
the rest of junior high or high school. It
Was it
doesn't
what
matter.
matters? Like, just you want to avoid it, or just like,
oh, I hate seeing myself. I hate going to boys.
Yeah, I was the same. It just made I hated how I looked on camera at that age, especially. I was like, my cheeks are so baby. Like somebody even said, "That's so like baby fat." Like, those comments stick with you.
But it's wild to think that too. Like, you know, I don't want to see myself on camera, but there are people that look at you going, "I want that hairstyle. I love the way she dressed. I love the way she looks." Like kind of idolizing your character and making their character part of their actual real life personality.
yeah.
So we want to get into some of these.
Yeah, so what was it about?
Yeah.
So we did go through your social media and we love to see people's journey and what you've gone through over the years. So we picked some photos and Carl's and I have discussed these and we want to know the story behind it. So if you want to pick one, or you can pick one, it's all you know. It's so scary.
Yeah.
I'm very scared.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Oh, that's the professor way.
What do you mean perfect one to start with? Okay, so story behind this, we were on set, and I guess we just had, I don't know why I had a name tag though. I really actually don't remember why. And it's my real name, it wasn't my character name, so.
Putting a plane together and your characters together must
Yeah, no, we joked around on
That's how
set.
you posted, looking at the date. Okay.
Happy birthday, Pascal. We have changed a bit.
Yeah, because it's around his birthday. Maybe.
Yeah, I posted it for his birthday.
We're doing a nice
picture.
the solving of those.
That's right. I like that.
I know.
I like that.
Looks like there's a Commodore 64 in the bag.
What I think
Oh,
is
yeah.
really cool is how this on-screen relationship has connected the two of you in the minds of viewers forever.
Yeah, I think people love to see that we are actually still very close friends. We do a lot of appearances together. We've known each other for so long, and we're so comfortable around it. It's like me and Amanda. I mean, that happens when you work so closely with someone, right? I mean, luckily, we didn't like have a contentious relationship or something, because that would have been awkward. But yeah, no, we just we share a lot. Like people like Amanda and Pat, like we have that innate knowledge about each other and shared experiences that no one else will ever have. So it's very special.
What was it like for when the show ended?
Strange.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know for me, I was maybe 19, right? Already living on my own and figuring out what's my next move. And I felt like I went on so many auditions and all the feedback was spike.
Yeah.
So it
Very
was
like
typecast, and which is not a bad thing, right? It's not a bad thing as an actor because then you want a role that shows that you're more than just one character. So there's a lot of rejection, right? Like rejection, maybe I'm a crappy actor and no one's ever told me, and that's the reason why I can't get any roles. So I felt a little bit lost, right? And then you mentioned acting classes and the baby fat. Like, I would go to acting classes led by casting directors, and one actually told me that I had to lose the baby fat. And it's like, so all these body dysmorphia types of things, and I can't get any acting jobs, and I'm being told that I'm too short, I'm too fat, my nose is too big. You can never get a pretty girl role. You're the the quirky friend, and so I couldn't even get those roles. So a lot of it felt lost for quite a long time.
So how did you deal with that? How did you?
How do you reconcile that with what you wanted to be in life?
Well, I'm 55 and I still don't know what I want to be. But after several years of rejection, I went to university. So I started university when I was 23. I'm like, what am I interested in? History, politics, religion. So I got an honors BA in that. What else do I like to do? I like to travel. So I went to Japan for a year and then I came back and wouldn't you know it, when I came back 6 months later, it was, oh, we're thinking of doing a show having exchange.
But it's looking at you right now, I keep thinking about that episode, and I'm sure this comes up all the time about slightly pregnant and what happened at NBC. They didn't want to show it, the controversy. There was so much, and I'm sure you get this question all the time. But were you comfortable with doing that whole storyline?
Primarily, yes. Right? The initial shock of reading the episode, because we worked both at a time, and during the documentary, we talked about similar like this. It would brought back some trauma for stuff. Like, what's under the script? And then you turn it over and it's like, oh, it's late. Well, who's in it? Who's in it? But we weren't allowed to flip through it. So I'm like, oh my God, let's see here. Okay. And then as you read it, there was that momentary, oh, that's okay. How am I going to deal with this? But almost immediately, I was okay with it. Yes, it was challenging. I think the storyline I was able to do without having any qualms. The hardest part of that episode was the kiss with Billy Barrow in a very teeny bedroom, which only fit Kit, who's directing in the camera, and Phil. And he was like, kiss longer. That was the most awkward part. The storyline, I really came to, I don't want to say grips with it, like it was something needed. It was like, wow, this is very powerful. And I felt honored to be able to deliver that storyline.
And that's a common through line throughout the entire history of Degrassi. It's like when I tackle these things, and other countries aren't going to even understand that you can do this, and there's going to be pushback. How did you guys manage that personally? Like knowing that we want to accept, so we can't, but you're going to move ahead anyways.
I mean, to a large extent, we were protected from negative feedback when it came to what viewers were saying about the actual episodes. but I think we knew that this was something special. Like this was something that no one was really doing that was ballsy and which made it exciting. We never could have, I think, predicted like how big it
How
would
big
be
it was
and
gonna
how
be.
like certain countries would then have to edit out certain parts and like I guess it was the BBC that
Yeah,
had an issue with it.
I naturally love travel, and I was always saying to our publicist, if anyone gets to go to the UK, if anyone ever, is it punk rock to me in my eyes, whoever gets to go, wow, my storyline got banned by the BBC. The distributor wants to bring me over there to do interviews, like, yes. But at the same time, I'm a person that I believe in something, I don't care if it's going to be pushed back. I believe in it. So I really believe in that storyline. So I was not going to take that negativity in a way that was going to back down or feel any challenge. I was proud of that storyline. I thought it needed to be said. And individuals in that situation needed a voice.
It's impressive that I went there with that stuff, though, really, especially at a time like that. It's
Punk rock.
yeah. All right, pick the next one.
Oh, I remember this. I remember posting it. Or you posted this one.
I posted. I actually took those photos with a disposable camera.
Look at that.
Look, also how cool they are.
They're so cool.
Yes.
In our minds.
Like press tour day, the shooting day. What is this?
I feel like, and often I tell Stacie, this is what happened, and then she'll remind me or correct me. So I feel like this might have been on the way to something regarding Degrassi talks. I didn't have the spiked hair, so it was definitely later. And
Yeah.
I feel like it might have been in Degrassi.
No, what even says that? More
Does it?
Degrassi talks per house.
There you go.
Like, you know what, guys? Like, I'm saying, like, oh, we really bonded on the next gen. We actually started bonding on Degrassi Talks.
Sure.
Because we started, like, we had to, like, room together and stuff when we went on, cross country. Sorry if my stomach keeps growling.
Oh my God, you're not amazing.
Sorry, everybody. So yeah, so we would room together.
Yes.
And I tell stories. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Shenanigans stories.
I shouldn't be proud of this story, but I can't tell it. We were in Halifax and we had some interviews lined up the following day. Stacie had a particularly early interview, and she was the one that had to do it because she spoke French. So it was very specific. No one could do the interview besides Stacie. We went to several bars in Halifax that evening. Several drinks were involved. And maybe someone missed their call time. Oh no! But who got in trouble?
You did?
Melinda sat me aside and said, maybe you can hold your liquor, and maybe you can go for a hike and get up at 5 and be ready to go witness the situation was on. I think that was a negative on me.
There was multiple one.
You were the bad. We were the bad influence. Now, to be fair, I didn't even know at the time that she was getting in trouble for that. And, I mean, I'm sure I still got in trouble, but I feel like you probably got more in trouble than I did, and that's really not fair because
I did try to learn for me.
I had never done that before. Like I was always like the good girl, you know.
Were you the responsible one on set too?
I was. Like, I know sometimes people have this, oh, you're the punk rock one, you like break the law and all this, or do rowdy days, which, yes, that is in my character sometimes, but I was the oldest of the earlier ships. I was the one that could drive, a lot of car to set. I should have known better. But
We'll get into wraps, and I'm going to finish up with just one more.
can we, like,
Sure.
You want to know the most interesting?
Sure.
That's
the one.
Yeah. Can we just? I love her.
Yeah, Pat and I were doing press in New York. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I remember even then we went to a school in an area of New York where before meeting some of the students, the principal said, every single storyline in your series has happened at this school.
Wow.
And it brought things to light of, wow,
Yeah.
we have covered topics that needed to be
I asked Melinda this earlier, but what is Degrassi to you guys?
meaningful. I can't. It's a part. It's
Yeah.
a part.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you
part
so
of
much.
life.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's part of all of us.
Thank you so much.
Let's go.
That was fun.
Thank you guys.
Those weren't horrible.
No, they're not.
We are